Hey guys, this is EckhartsLadder. Hello and welcome to another Star Wars Legends lore video, and today we are talking about a bioweapon so terrifying, so disturbing, that even Emperor Palpatine would not use it. A bioweapon that he was even afraid of. What am I talking about? Well, before we understand the weapon that's the subject of today's video, let's go back and discuss the Krytos virus, a far more famous bioweapon in Star Wars Legends. The Krytos virus is well known for both its excruciating manner of killing living beings and also the fact that it only targeted non-human aliens. The Krytos virus was developed by General Avir Daracote of the Empire and was used on the planet Coruscant in 7 ABY in what would be one of the most evil acts of the Empire. What happened is the New Republic captured Coruscant, and Azania Isard and her henchmen basically left the Krytos virus to try to bankrupt the New Republic and cause widespread hate across the galaxy. There was already the idea that the New Republic, like the Empire before it, was favoring humans over aliens, so the Krytos virus was unleashed, resulting in the deaths of millions of aliens, and people blamed the New Republic because the Krytos virus could actually be cured by a relatively common substance in the galaxy, Bacta. The problem was the Krytos virus required a large amount of Bacta to cure an individual, and at the time, there were serious shortages and conflicts over Bacta production. Those who die by the Krytos virus have some of the most gruesome and disgusting deaths in Star Wars Legends. Again, these were aliens only, but it worked on everything from Gamorreans to Twi'lek. And if you're wondering why this is important, it's because the virus we'll be talking about today is sort of an offshoot of the Krytos virus. I do just want to mention the actual effects before we continue, and I'll read some quotes from the book The Krytos Trap. One Gamorrean infected with the virus is said to have had their flesh split, allowing leg and arm bones to protrude, with the skin itself thinning to a gray-green translucency and hanging in ragged thin ribbons from ribs and fingers. The skin of the Gamorrean's face and head detached from its skull, and it eventually dies when it tries to turn its head, and its neck breaks after its face doesn't follow. It's, again, very vulgar and very, very disgusting. It basically starts with blisters and muscle atrophy, and eventually the skin and tissue of an individual literally falls off. The Krytos virus was transmitted mostly through the infected tissue of an individual. This was accomplished not only through the liquefying of bone and tissue and muscle, but also the fact that late-stage Krytos virus victims also typically suffered dementia and thus moved around wildly, often infecting other people. Thankfully, the New Republic was able to get the Krytos virus under control. They quarantined it largely to Coruscant. They treated most of the population through pacts with Bacta manufacturers and really the Empire's plot, although not without significant bloodshed. So the virus that Palpatine was too afraid to use was basically the opposite of the Krytos virus. It targeted humans only, with some differences. First of all, the Krytos virus had an incubation period of about 12 days to help with transmission. This other virus, which is sometimes called the Emperor's Plague, I'll call it simply the virus, seemed to infect and kill sometimes within minutes. What's the backstory of this virus? Well, for that we turn away from the X-Wing novels and to the Young Jedi Knights series, and specifically the Diversity Alliance arc. Within that arc, there is a book called Delusions of Grandeur, which gives us the full history of the virus. The book explains that the Emperor's bioweapon research was perhaps more expansive and serious than many people suspected. General Daracote, creator of the Krytos virus, also created an even deadlier disease, the one we're talking about today, which targeted only humans, and the book describes it as a virus so horrible that Emperor Palpatine himself feared to use it. Initially, he held it on stock in case he needed to subdue or eliminate certain worlds, but he was worried about transmissibility. Someone gets on a shuttle or something, and suddenly he feared he'd be ruling a galaxy without any humans. The virus was so awful that he stored it in a hidden weapons cache on a small asteroid and had the depot's coordinates destroyed so that he would only know where the stockpile was hidden. How did it reemerge? Well, in the post-Endor period, actually just before the Yuuzhan-Vong War, the Diversity Alliance became established in the galaxy. The Diversity Alliance, as led by Nola Tarkona, was an anti-human league fighting for alien supremacy and also revenge. They wanted to use the virus not just to hurt the New Republic, but to eliminate all humans throughout the galaxy. Now, personally, I don't think this would have worked. First of all, it was very, very difficult for them to find the bioweapons cache. They found a few samples, and beyond that, it was sort of a wild goose chase to track the one person who knew where it was. The bigger problem, however, in my mind, is one that I already alluded to: how quickly the virus kills. We see an entire planet or an entire city wiped out after an accidental release, but death seems to come pretty quickly. On another occasion, Nola Tarkona shows off the virus in front of other alien visitors, and she kills a squad of Emperor Palpatine's red-robed guards in what must have been minutes at most. So in my mind, the transmissibility is just not high enough for it to pose a significant galaxy-wide threat. Yeah, you could certainly wipe out a few population centers if people were housed very close together, if there was really high population density, but just generally, I think people die too quickly for the virus to be spread through space travel, for example, especially where, as with the Krytos virus, it's explicitly said to not be capable of transmitting through the air. The young Jedi Knights, including the Solo, twins, Lobaka, and Tenel Ka, end up destroying the Emperor's storehouse, so the virus was never released upon humanity besides for a few smaller outbreaks. But this certainly wasn't the end of species-specific bioweapons. On one hand, you had something like Alpha Red, which was developed by the New Republic, and in a similar way to the Krytos virus, targeted the Vong only and killed the species through deterioration of organic matter, body matter, a very unpleasant way to die. This was attractive to the New Republic not only because it could kill the Yuuzhan-Vong, but also their biological technology, which was basically everything they used, from their armor to their weapons to their starships. A smaller scale example of something like this would be the nanotechnology which targeted the Fett lineage. This prevented his family from returning to Mandalore, and we never really see that concluded because of how Star Wars Legends ended, but the nanovirus was based off other nanotech used against the Verpine years earlier. That, however, is all I've got for today's video. I hope you enjoyed this content. If you have anything you'd like me to cover in the future, are there any questions you'd like me to answer at the end of one of my videos in the hashtag AskEck section, include all of that and more down below. Till next time though, guys, be safe, have a good one, and may the Force be with you.